There's this old cemetery not too far from where I live. Small, hidden back in the woods, almost like it's been forgotten. You wouldn't find it unless you were really looking. And the place just feels wrong. You step out of the car, and it's like the air gets heavy. One night, a friend of mine convinced me to go. She had heard these creepy stories about it. People seeing shadows, hearing whispers. We thought, why not? Just a quick visit to see if anything would actually happen. We got there just after midnight. It was so quiet, too quiet. No wind, no bugs, nothing. Just this thick, heavy silence pressing down on us. We turned on our phone lights and started walking between the graves, just looking around. For the first few minutes, nothing happened, just old crumbling tombstones. And then, we heard it, whisper softly. A voice, so faint, we almost missed it. It sounded like someone whispering. We couldn't tell where it was coming from. It wasn't close, but it wasn't far either. It was just around us. My friend laughed, trying to shake it off, saying maybe it was a prank. But there was nobody else there. Just us in the graves. I was about to say we should leave when I saw something. We paused. A figure, standing a few rows back, barely visible in the dark. It wasn't moving, just standing there, watching us. I nudged my friend, and we both stared at it, trying to figure out if it was even real. And the longer we looked, the stranger it seemed. It was shaped like a person, but there was something off. It was like it was fading in and out of the shadows. Then, it started moving. Pause. Not like a person, more like a shadow gliding along, slowly stretching, turning away, and melting into the trees. My friend whispered, "Did you see that?" We were both frozen, hearts racing, but right then, her phone light went out, just died, quietly, shaky. It had been fully charged before we left, so it made no sense. And that's when we heard it. Footsteps, slow, heavy footsteps, crunching the leaves, coming right toward us. We couldn't see anything, just the sound getting closer and closer. Whisper urgently. We didn't wait around to find out what it was. We took off running, stumbling down the path, barely able to see. I swear it felt like something was right behind us, reaching for us, following us all the way to the car. We jumped in, locked the doors, and sped off. Neither of us spoke the whole way home. And since then, we've never gone back to that cemetery. And I don't think we ever will. I've always been fascinated by the paranormal, ever since I was a kid, actually. I grew up near this little cemetery in rural Illinois. Hardly anyone knew about it. It was hidden between endless cornfields, no houses, just farmland as far as you could see. The place was old, really old. Some of the graves were from the 1800s, mixed with newer ones. I'd wander around with my camera, hoping to catch something unusual. Over the years, I actually did. Some strange orbs, shadows, even mists that seemed to cling around certain graves. I've got a few of those photos saved, but honestly, it's the memories that really haunt me. The one that sticks with me the most. It happened on a quiet night. I had gone out with my dad and younger brother. It was one of the first times we went out late, around midnight, under a sky full of stars. Nothing seemed strange at the cemetery. Just stillness. The kind that makes you feel like you're being watched. We took a few photos, then headed home. Back home, we loaded my dad's SD card into the computer to see if we captured anything unusual. And we had. My dad had caught a mist, a ghostly mist, hovering right over a grave. It looked like someone was breathing smoke in front of the lens. but none of us had seen it in person. We were all staring at it, a little freaked out, when suddenly our dog started barking. He was looking out the window by the computer, barking in this slow, steady way. He wouldn't stop, just kept going for 20 minutes. Now, he usually barked at things outside, but this was different, like he sensed something we couldn't see. My dad went outside to look, but, nothing. No animals, no shadows, just silence. We finally shrugged it off and went to bed. I thought that was the end of it. But that night, I woke up. The red glow of my clock read 3 a.m. on the dot. My room was pitch black and not a sound. And then I heard it, a faint sliding sound, like wood moving across carpet. It was so smooth, almost like someone was right there in the dark, moving slowly. I tried to ignore it, told myself I was imagining things, and fell back asleep. The next morning, though, I noticed something. My desk chair, the one I always keep tucked in by the door, was pulled out. And it wasn't just pulled out. It was turned to face my bed. Perfectly. I know I didn't leave it that way. I always push it in. 'Cause if I don't, I can't even get out of my room. To this day, I have no idea how that chair moved. No explanation. But that night changed things for me. Now, whenever I leave a place that might be haunted, I make it a point to say very clearly, you're not welcome to follow me home. And since then, it's mostly worked.